So, I want to talk about the importance of student-driven organizations because I am part of a blog called the Students for Stateless Society, and being not a student and being a former student, I thought I could bring some ideas of what it means to be a good student insofar as advocating a stateless society is concerned. First off, you have to make sure you're on a campus that is actually active. You can't be in a campus where everyone's apathetic. There's no political organizations. It's very tough to get any sort of start, especially if you're in a place where there's not very good weather conditions, and even the main clubs themselves don't have a lot of people. This can also be a problem if you go to a small campus or you go to a private institution. So those are a few recommendations off the top of my head based on my own personal experience. I went to a small college that was private. There weren't a lot of people. I tried to start up a libertarian group. I was going to do like the world's smallest political quiz and get people involved in libertarianism and then eventually build it up to more anarchist tending stuff. But I never even got it off the ground due to my own lack of initiative and work in general, which is another important thing. As a student, you always want to make sure that your work supersedes your activism, because if you don't, well, eventually you'll be being a non-student being active. You'll just be a regular activist. You won't be a student involved. Um, so if you think you can stick around on the college campuses and get active, and you're on a place where you think you can get active, I encourage it. Every person will have their own way of getting towards a stateless society, and if yours is advocating libertarianism on the small scale, maybe start off with minarchism, appeal to some of the other local political groups, and go from there. Make sure you have some faculty on your side too. That'll always help, or just faculty that are interested in having a discussion. It may be hard to find, but I think it's certainly doable. So those are some tips for students who want to start up an organization, like S4SS, or something else. Um, in general, colleges usually are hotbeds of discussion. They're very open forum. There's not a lot of restrictions unless you go like way off. Generally speaking, at least that's been my experience from the one college that I went to. But generally speaking, colleges are pretty open to free speech, and you have to encourage other people to get involved. So this, the S4SS largely, therefore, is reliant on people educating other people, and getting them active and making them less apathetic. If people around you are apathetic, they won't really want to join the group. They won't really want to know what's going on. They won't really care. So part of advocating a stateless society on the campus will mean getting other people active, even if you're not. I mean, let's face it. On either on public or private institution of a college, you probably won't find many anarchists. So you'll have to look first for the minarchists, and then for maybe what Roderick Long calls the anti-privileged left, and maybe you could look for some classical conservatives in the strain of Albert J. Nock and other people, and Oppenheimer. I believe they were all sort of friends with some people on the classic, the classic 30s anti-interventionist right, not neocons, but the right from the 30s. You also want to be looking for new left people, and that sort of goes along with the anti-privileged left. So those are some groups that you might want to look out for. As far as pamphlets, try anything from Alliance of Libertarian Left pamphlets to pamphlets from liberty activism. There's a few pages on Facebook you could probably look up, and they could probably help you. And you can always get the world's smallest political quiz for free. You just have to give them your address as far as the campus ground is concerned. And you can also do other things too. You can ask people who do Students for Liberty how they organize, and maybe you could even join them. Another good tip is that on a campus that already has something like Students for Liberty, that is an ideal place, especially if you already want to be there and you think it's a good place to go to in general. That's a fantastic place to go to because there are already people there interested in the ideas of liberty. Maybe not necessarily a stateless society, but they're already interested in liberty, and that's probably your best bet. There's no time to be playing ideological purity tests. There's no time to be, forming little cult circles and saying everyone has to 100% agree with you. College is the place where you build up alliances based on a lot of common interests, not necessarily 100% common interest. So those are some more tips. Um, and I mean, basically, this video is just to give a bunch of tips from personal experience and from some of my own ideas about how you could build a coalition on college grounds for something like a Students for Stateless Society. Now, I want to talk about why this movement itself is important. The Students for Stateless Society is important because it gets young people involved in the political, well, not in the political process, but getting actually opposed to the political process. Many young people are already dissatisfied in a lot of ways with the way the political process is going. You'll probably see more young people watching Stephen Colbert and The Daily Show with Jon Stewart more than watching CNN and Fox News and all that stuff, and they won't really buy what's going on, especially with Fox News. Um, and so it's important to get these kind of dissatisfied youth on the side of liberty because they're already dissatisfied with the way things are going. You just need to give them more of a solid direction. And giving them something like Students for a Stateless Society can really help that direction because it gives them a purpose. It gives them a sort of centered place to voice their opinions and their dissatisfaction and say, okay, well, this isn't working. What can we do to make it work? Um, so that's one of the many reasons why Students for a Stateless Society is very important. It helps students get organized and get their thoughts out more coherently. It also is a great resource to get pamphlets distributed so students can read them and get more informed. It can help organize other movements around the area that don't necessarily have to do with a stateless society, but then things that will help work towards them, like anti-Fed rallies and anti-war rallies and stuff like that. So that's another few reasons why the Students for a Stateless Society is a very important organization. I'll be doing more vlogs as time goes on, or I may write on this blog site. But for now, I think it suffices to say that Students for a Stateless Society is a very good organization. It's a very good idea, especially for college students who already are dissatisfied with the system and don't know how to direct it. The ideas of liberty can hopefully help direct these people.